right, can I get everybody's quick attention here? I'm Scott Huston. I want to welcome everybody to the Lukens National Historic District and the National Iron and Steel Heritage Museum. We're about ready to get underway with dinner, so if everybody, grab your seats, take your time. We're going to do the buffet table by table. But before we start that, I would like to ask Bill Shaw to come up and give us a quick invocation prayer.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we want to just pause before we move on with this evening to return thanks to you for all the great things we're about to celebrate this evening. We are so grateful for this food and pray that it would nourish our bodies, that it would give us strength, give us energy, all that we need to get through this day and the days ahead. So we thank you for that. And as we move ahead, we thank you for these families who are here with us tonight. We thank you for these students who have excelled with the support of those families, and we just give you thanks for that and pray that as they move ahead that they will continue to succeed and they will continue to be part of the legacy of Coatesville, the innovation, the engineering, the place that makes things that this country needs. And we just pray that even as tonight we pause and think about this, that these young people would carry that with them. So we just thank you for so much, and I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. All right, I think we'll get started. I know everybody's having great conversations, and I don't mean to interrupt those conversations, but we do have a little business to get down to tonight. Again, I want to thank you for coming tonight to the Lukens National Historic District and National Iron and Steel Heritage Museum. Tonight we are going to do a few things. We are going to recognize the Charles Lukens Houston Scholarship Award recipients, although they won't be here, but I know that their families are here to accept the awards on their behalf, so that will be good. Gene DiOrio will be presenting the annual Eugene DiOrio Volunteer of the Year Award to Sharon Bowyer, and who for helping us mostly with the volunteer store manager, and she's been a tremendous asset. And I'd like to thank Gene DiOrio as well at this point in time for continuing to be one of our great supporters and one of our founding members of the organization. And then lastly, we will hear from Sheila Fleming of the Brandywine Conservancy. They've been undertaking and are presenting some interesting a project on the Brandywine Creek Greenway project about mapping some of the assets up and down the east and west branch of the Brandywine and tying that together, because the Brandywine River or Creek has a great history, and that could lead to a designation of a corridor or the river, but it's an interesting project, so we're going to be hearing more about that in a little bit. I do want to thank this is important. I know it can be mundane, but I do want to thank the board of directors. Jeff Roars is my vice president. Bill Keene is our secretary. Peter Nunn is our treasurer. Barbara Travellini, Al Giantonio, Martha Sciatis, and Harry Lewis is here tonight. And then, of course, Dad is here, Charles Lukens Houston III, and very happy to have them. I want to recognize Jim Ziegler, our executive director, who really helps effectively manage the day-to-day operations of the historic district and focusing on my unrelenting demands and balancing the allocation of resources in that. And he's been a great help. Kathy Franciscus is here tonight, and she as well deals with me on many levels, so that's good to know that she's here tonight. But she is a great help in the administration in supporting Jim in the office. Property is a big deal about what we do around here. We have a lot of real estate assets, and I really want to thank Sharon Tandrich, Fran Shiraki, and Kirk Beard really help out in rounding out the property team and leading those efforts. That group is responsible for everything that goes on around here as far as the grounds and the buildings. It's quite an extensive job. I believe we have about 12 acres and 5 major buildings to take care of, and I'm always impressed with the amount of work that gets done by that group. Just real quickly on some of the issues, Greystone Mansion, as you know, doesn't have AC, doesn't have heat, and we are going to begin that project of installing a geothermal system in this building so that we can stabilize the environment in this building. It's a great building. It's not built for events, but it holds events very well. And as we begin to move into that, we hope to do more events here in Greystone Mansion. And across the street, Terracina is holding steady with its Victorian architecture. The most recent, we were hoping to feature it tonight at the garden party, but we just finished the restoration of the water fountain on the front corner. And there's very little deferred maintenance on that property. And again, thanks to Sharon and Franny and Kirk for keeping that up to speed. The tenant house is in the back. That's another 1880s property. And we have a tenant in there, and that provides a great contrast to Terracina. And there are a couple projects down there as well that we hope to button up soon. Brandywine Mansion, as you know, the home of Rebecca Lukens, continues to be a priority for us to stabilize and begin the restoration of that. Last year I mentioned that Dale Friends had completed a basic historic structures report to get us to understand a little bit of the history and the evolution of the house, and how it was built and what changes make it today. I don't know if at last year's garden party I had mentioned that we actually undertook a study of the house and did a core drilling of old timbers, original timbers, and we have effectively dated, through Penn State, effectively dated that house to 1738/1739. So it's great to have a very narrow date range in that house. So which is also interesting because I think it's built at the same time that Primitive Hall was built at, another Pennick house. So those are some interesting things about the property. We really focus as well on the long-term acquisition of the 120-inch motor house. We met with Joe Pitts, Congressman Pitts, and Ed Fry of ArcelorMittal in April, and we were charged with a number of tasks, and one of them was to conduct a letter-writing campaign. And I think in a little less or a little more than 30 days, we collected over 125 key letters from supporters and politicians, and then we collected another 250 letters of support from students at the Coatesville Area Senior High School. And we hope that that's one of the last hurdles that we'll have to jump through to demonstrate broad-based community support to allow ArcelorMittal to continue to transfer that property. We were told that it was one of their corporate goals for the year to transfer that property to us. So we're very hopeful and remain optimistic that will happen this year. So stay tuned. But ArcelorMittal's been a great partner. Last year they installed a steelworkers memorial incorporating a piece of the World Trade Center. And again, steel making is a dangerous job, and we really wanted to formally recognize some of the people that walked into the plant that never came out, or if they did, they died on the job. And there's a number of names down there. It's a great reflective memorial for the steelworkers. Under property as well, we have an extensive collections, a lot of collections, and one of the most recent reports, I haven't really read the report yet, just glanced it over, is the Pennsylvania Historic Society came out and did an assessment of our collections in a number of different areas, and they found that the Lukens Steel collection had a very broad-based appeal and attraction, and could be quite significant in establishing research and people who want to conduct research on the iron and steel industry. The Klaus Grutzka collection also ranks very highly with broad-based public support and appeal, and we continue to make that one of our focus efforts in the cataloging of our collections. Pook and Pook just did an auction, and one of our art pieces, we auctioned off a couple pieces to help support the management of that Grutzka collection, and we were happy that at their most recent auction, one of the pieces was on their cover and went for over $1,000. So, new record. That's the first record. But yeah, we're very excited about that because Klaus Grutzka is a relatively unknown artist, and we just hope to bring his art to the forefront. And it's some of the art is in the music room over here. but as well, we worked with Penn State Great Valley this past spring, and they hosted an exhibit at their Great Valley campus on Klaus Grutska, and we have that installed in the office building for people to view at their leisure. I really want to thank Kathy Bratton. I don't think she's here tonight, who is our collections manager, and she really coordinates that effort. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Francis Sheehan, and Harry Lewis is over here, and really the Brandywine Health Foundation and the Coatesville Youth Initiative are tremendous assets for the city of Coatesville, and we're very, very lucky to have some of the Coatesville Youth Initiative. The students that we get from them are very bright and very dedicated, and we're looking forward to working with them this summer again on collections management and getting on top of a lot of our collections. So I do want to thank you for that. And moving on to programs, Juliet Hunsinger is in the music room, and she really puts together a lot of the events, logistics, and helping with the events such as catering and chairs and linens, but as well the educational offerings and our tour guides, our volunteers, and making sure that what we have here is relevant and interesting for a general viewer, visitor, or somebody who's coming to look for a specific research project. So Juliet has a big job. We would like to, build her team. It's a team of one right now, but we would really like to add to the educational group here. But as for instance, Juliet, we had the Rebecca Lukens Award in March this year, honoring Molly Morrison of the Natural Lands Trust and her initiatives and efforts. We have spring lectures, where this year was the 70th anniversary of the launching of the Rebecca Lukens Liberty Ship, and we had Larry is here and the John Brown. We took a group down to see the John Brown, and unfortunately I was not able to make it because I understand that they have one of their two running Liberty ships left, and this one has its original steam boiler. So that is tremendous as well. Lukens made a lot of steam boilers, so I'd like to get a ride on that one day. And in the fall, we're going to go visit the USS Intrepid, which has a space shuttle on it, and our contributions to the space program as well as naval defense. And then we're going to visit the National September 11th Memorial. The museum just opened, and so we're going back to New York we've been to the memorial, but we're going to go as well to the museum. And then and that'll be in the fall. Summer continues to always impress, and I'm happy that the garden party, although Carol, I guess, said it's more like a house party this year, so look out. But the Science Explorers Camp is coming up, and we really take the opportunity to really tackle science and engineering, and looking forward to having a lot of young campers here for a couple weeks this summer. The Coatesville Remembers event, 9/11, is in the fall, along with our Lukens reunion, the Lukens veterans, workers, and we have a barbecue event in the fall, as well as our annual golf outing. But moving on is how do we afford all this? Well, part of that is through our development and marketing efforts, and Leanne Zolovich is here as well. She helps with our marketing, and then Melinda Williams, somewhere around, she is in charge of our sales. So if you get a call about membership or sponsorship or annual appeal, please say yes. How often and how much can I give? But it really takes quite an effort to do a lot of the property and program, and as well some of getting the word out about what a great asset we have here in Coatesville. So I want to thank them for that. And Kristen Fouette is our bookkeeper, rounding out the business team. I also want to thank a couple other individuals. Al Ray Johnson is here tonight with C3 TV, and we're always very appreciative of the efforts to capture our programs and events for those who can't come. It does strike me how many people do watch our events on YouTube and on C3 TV's website. So we're very happy to make our programs accessible to a larger audience. I would also like to thank the Chester County Historical Society. I don't know if David Reinfeld's here tonight, but we have a strong partnership with them, and in our membership, and just getting the word out about a lot of the historical opportunities here in Chester County. It has such a rich history that we really have a lot here to be thankful for. I do want to thank some of our sponsors for tonight. Barbara Houston, aka Mom, is is very generous as well as helping underwrite a lot of tonight's activities. Peter and Ruth Nunn as well, tremendous supporters, although they could not be here tonight. And Coatesville Savings Bank, I think Coatesville, Steve Cunningham's here. So we're very thankful for a lot of the local people and local institutions that make some things happen tonight. I also want to recognize a couple people. They probably didn't know this, but Ryan Miller is here tonight. I invited him. He's one of our interns from last year who really helped us gear our government relations program, and we're very happy to have him here, University of Pennsylvania student and very accomplished. So Ryan's here tonight, and we also have one of our local students. Last year's recipient is Nathaniel Henderson, is in the back, and it's really great to have him here tonight because the young people of our community, it's really nice to just recognize them on a continuing basis for what they do and hope to be, and that is nice. The last person I do want to recognize is Donna Sitter of the Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce. You probably didn't. Speech? No. Donna really helps put together and coordinate our scholarship, Charles Lukens Houston Scholarship, and has really been a tremendous supporter over a number of years in prodding me about deadlines, and as well, we need to meet and we need to discuss, and it's really great to have her a part of the effort here, and we have a great partnership with the Western Chester County Chamber, so looking forward to continuing that. But again, it really couldn't be done without our members, and people like us who come and support, and just the sense of community and making some of these things happen. It really couldn't be done without you, and that's why these things are great. Always anxious, but I do love it when you come out and you see the people that really care a lot and help support your organization through and through. So again, welcome tonight to the garden party in the house. So I really want to thank you for coming tonight. Give yourselves a round. Yeah. Oh, here you are. Yeah, ready? So the first order of business, though, is we would like to do the scholarship, the Charles Lukens Houston Scholarship Book Award Program. This is a program that Lukens used to do on various levels, with just recognizing local students of accomplishment, specifically in engineering. With Lukens folding into Bethlehem, and then Bethlehem, getting rid of the scholarship program, it took us a number of years to kind of pick it up and get it back on track. And we started it a couple years ago, and we're very happy again to just recognize students of accomplishment in the Coatesville area, specifically who are going to pursue careers or at least degrees in engineering. And unfortunately, we moved the event from Saturday to a Thursday, so I believe those two students are at senior week. I wonder what they're doing right now. But we are very lucky to have their families here tonight, and I would definitely like to recognize them at this particular point in time. So maybe if they could come up, that would be great. And while they do that, the background is in the late 1950s and early 60s. Mr. Charles Lukens Houston Jr., chairman of the board of directors and president, chief executive officer of Lukens Steel, he established the Charles Lukens Houston Fellowship Foundation in honor of his father and their deep belief in higher education. The fellowship scholarship program was principally intended to provide scholarship to the benefit of graduate from the Coatesville Area School District pursuing a degree in the following year, at college, or an accredited graduate program in engineering. And the criteria really is that they must be a high school senior student in good academic standing, be accepted at a university college, community college, or accredited vocational trade or business school, pursue a degree in science or engineering, and demonstrate a high level of academic achievement. They also must demonstrate involvement in school and or community service, and be recommended by a teacher and or other personal reference. The selection committee consists of myself and Dad and Donna and Jim, and and representatives of the community, I think Gene DiOrio as well, and Jim Ziegler help out with that. But this year's recipients are Morgan Flynn, yeah, and Steven McFarland. So, Morgan will be attending Penn State University, and where she will be pursuing an engineering degree, and she plans to utilize her knowledge in that for improving community and daily life. And you know, I think that that's her satisfaction, long-term goals of designing and improving aspects of society. Stephen will be attending Widener University in the fall, where he will be majoring in mechanical engineering, and he plans to give back to his community as well by improving the quality of people's lives, and he's confident in that. So at this time, I want to bring you up. There are certificates here for you, if I get a time. This is Morgan, Stephen. And if I don't sweat on them. Excuse me. Can't wait for that AC next year. I really can't. But let's see here. Stephen. Yeah. Here's Steve for Stephen. Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Congratulations.
Very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Mm-hmm. Hope I'm not. Sure. Okay. Yep.
Can you hold this up or no?
And then, well, here. Yeah. See, I had, and then Morgan's as well. Yeah. Right. Oh, no. I'm doing that. Got that. Okay. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, our pleasure. Yes. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you very much. Yeah. You know, but it really is great to go through the applications, and you look at the work that they have done, and you definitely recognize that it takes a team. It's a discipline and the support group. You know, no one can do it alone, and I think that it's really great to have them here tonight to accept on behalf. So, and again, we would like to have them here as our guests next year if they're around. That would be great. Mm-hmm. Yep. I know that's I wish I could. They are on spring or senior week, so that's great. So let's. The next order of business is then the Gene DiOrio Award for the Volunteer of the Year Award. So Gene, maybe you could come up and present that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is always a special honor and pleasure for me. For two reasons. The first is that when I retired from the board, they created this award, named it for me, and I became the first recipient. So here I am. I am now designated as Historical Advisor. And it's been a great pleasure for me, and it is going to be, to present this. But before I present it, since I am Historic Advisor, I'd like to take a moment with a couple of historic notes. We've been checking some records and finding that it was just 30 years ago, in 1984, that the Greystone Society got started. So later this summer, I think we'll have another party, Scott, to celebrate the 30th anniversary. Sure. The establishment of the society was an offshoot of the county's tricentennial in 1982. Several of us put together exhibits in Coatesville, and there was the thought that we ought to have some sort of a permanent memorial of Coatesville memorabilia. So several of us got our heads together, worked with the city, and in the summer of 1984, we created the Greystone Society. We called it the Greystone Society for History, and initially we didn't own this building. Our startings were very humble. We talked to the city. This building at that time was the city hall. And our thoughts were, we're going to take the room over there, called the music room, and develop it into a little museum of Coatesville history. Well, you see where we are now, 30 years later. We own this building and others, and we have grown. But it will be 30 years. There's another little historical event that I should mention tonight. At a recent gathering, Scott reminded me of his first visit to Terracina. and reminded me that I had taken some pictures, which last weekend I found. No, we're not going to show them tonight, but they're dated 21 years ago in 1993. So I think we should recognize Scott for all these years that he's put into it, and we've worked together. All right, now to the proper business of the evening to recognize our awardee, and as you know, it is Sharon Bowyer. She's been a dedicated volunteer of the museum, serving over 300 hours alone in this past year. She spent the majority of her time in the gift shop as a volunteer manager with remarkable success. Our gift shop is an important access to all museums, certainly to us. Before volunteering at the museum, Sharon gained 40 years of experience in the health field, the majority of which was spent as a nurse at the Coatesville Veterans Administration. In addition to her volunteerism at the National Steel Museum, she's a lifetime member of the Coatesville Auxiliary Fire Company, has participated for 20 years in the March of Dimes, and when not volunteering, she enjoys spending time with her son, 4 grandchildren, and collecting stuffed bears. In regards to her volunteerism, Sharon notes, "My happiest times are volunteering and giving back to the community." And I'm sure I speak for all of the board and all the members of the Greystone Society in expressing our thanks to Sharon for all the time and help she has given to us. Now, Sharon, if you would come up, we have a... Where's it, Scott? We have something to present to you. And if I can get it open. Here it is. Here's the Volunteer of the Award Award. So there you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Turn it this way. How's that?
There we
Is that better? Now, before you run off, we have a citation for you. Yeah,
it's a good one.
It's a good one. This comes from Senator Dinniman. The Senate of Pennsylvania. Whereas the Senate of Pennsylvania takes great pleasure in recognizing those citizens who, through dedication and excellence, contribute to a meaningful way to the self-being or the well-being of the community, and ultimately to all the people of this great Commonwealth. And whereas Sharon Bowyer is being honored with the Eugene L. DiOrio Volunteer of the Year Award from the National Iron and Steel Heritage Museum during an event which is being held on June the 19th. And whereas the gift shop management for the National Iron and Steel Heritage Museum, Mrs. Bowyer has amassed more than 300 hours of volunteer service. Any definition of a full and productive life must include service to others. Although her many initiatives to benefit her community and by her personal example, she has reflected the true spirit and mission of this Commonwealth. Now, therefore, the Senate of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania congratulates Sharon Bowyer upon her richly deserved recognition. Affirmatively states that she is a shining example of community spirit, whose many contributions are worthy of deep gratitude and respect, and directs that this document, sponsored by Senator Dinniman, be transmitted to Sharon Bowyer, Coatesville, Pennsylvania, signed by Senator Dinniman and Megan Considine, Secretary of the Commonwealth. So there you are. And this is yours.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good. Now I'll turn the program back to Scott.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Gene. Thanks so much. Here. Yeah, I believe Sam is going to be posting those photos of me on Facebook. But 21 years ago, that's half a lifetime. But really, I wouldn't. Yeah, for me, yes. But it is great to have Gene. I remember that day distinctly when it wasn't my first day here, but it was really like my first official visit. Showed up in my yellow Jeep right out. I'm still in college, and All right, what are you doing around here, Gene? And it has been a great pleasure to serve Coatesville, work with Gene and everybody else here, in the Historic District. One of the things that drives the people I work with nuts is that I sometimes forget things, usually come back around to them, and one of the things that I am totally remiss on saying is that I do have 2 citations for Morgan and Steven. So maybe if I could get you back up. Is that okay? But this is from I believe they are the same. But let me just read one, so I won't read both. But these are certificate of congratulations from the 19th Senatorial District. Congratulates 2014 Charles Lukens Huston Scholarship Award recipient Morgan Flynn and Steven McFarland of the Coatesville Area Senior High School. You have been recommended for this award in recognition of your accomplishments in science and engineering because of your academic achievement, exemplary character, and service to the community. You bring pride to your family, your friends, and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, not to mention Coatesville. But now, therefore, State Senator Andrew E. Dinniman recognizes your achievements and extends sincerest congratulations with high regard for your achievements. And furthermore, awards this certificate in commemoration of that event. Signed, Andrew E. Dinniman, Senator, 19th District. So, congratulations again.
Thanks again.
Let's get a picture of that. One more with that for Dinniman. We got to give it to him. Great. Yeah. All right. Thanks again. I won't bring you up again.
Thank you.
Promise it, but you never know. But at this time, I know it's our great privilege to have Sheila Fleming here tonight from the Brandywine Conservancy, and I would like Jim Ziegler, our executive director, to come up and talk a little bit about Sheila and the Brandywine Creek Greenway. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my extreme pleasure to introduce Sheila Fleming here to you tonight, the senior planner for the Conservancy. It is the Brandywine Conservancy that Sheila came to in 1999 as a planner, and she's worked with Chester County municipalities on a variety of conservation efforts. Sheila has received state recognition for her work on the Brandywine Creek Greenway. And so, ladies and gentlemen, help me to introduce Sheila Fleming.
Thank you, Jim. That was a wonderful introduction, and it's a real pleasure to be here this evening to such a diverse crowd. And I'm not used to the geography of the room, but we'll make the most of it. I did bring a few props, so I'm going to be a little bit challenged making sure everybody can see all of my props, but I'll be sure to share everything with everyone. So, I'm here tonight to introduce you to a regional planning initiative of the Brandywine Conservancy called the Brandywine Creek Greenway. And I brought along a poster of the Greenway, and you'll all have to come up after this and take a closer look. But here's the map. Okay? And on this side. All right. And I'll just leave it here for now. So this project was initiated back in 2010, and as I mentioned, it's an initiative of the Brandywine Conservancy. It's received generous funding from the William Penn Foundation, from DCNR, the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and Chester County. And the idea was 4 years ago that we have a wonderful creek here with the Brandywine, and we have so many beautiful resources along it. But would it be great to have a multi-municipal vision for a 30-mile-long conservation corridor that extends from Chadds Ford Township down in Delaware County and the Delaware state line all the way up to Honeybrook Township and Honeybrook Borough in the north. 30-mile-long conservation corridor. The project involves 24 municipalities, and so you can imagine over the last 4 years coordinating all 24 municipalities and reaching a common vision has been quite a challenge, but there has been a great deal of support for this project. And so I'm very happy to report that just in April, we completed our strategic action plan, and it's available online, of course. If you go and Google Brandywine Creek Greenway, it'll take you to our website where you can learn a little bit more about this project, and you can download some of the maps and documents that we've generated over the last 4 years. And I was hoping to make this kind of an interactive presentation, so feel free to get up out of your seats and should I speak up? Okay, I'm sorry. So get up out of your seats. If you can't see, come up and take a closer look, because I'll be sharing some photographs and images. But I think maybe I have a little bit of an advantage coming to this area as an outsider from Canada, because I really feel blessed that I've landed in such a beautiful place in Chester County, and I really had no idea it was here until I landed here. But there are so many wonderful natural, cultural, and recreational resources down the Brandywine corridor that exist today. And when I came from Canada, I grew up in a community where I could walk to school on sidewalks. What a concept. I could walk to town. I could walk to my friend's house. And I always felt very safe because there were places to walk. And so when I came to Pennsylvania, there was this huge culture shock, because all of a sudden I couldn't walk anywhere. In fact, at a lot of intersections, there were no pedestrian crossing signs, you know, the little stick man with the red line through it at many places where I would like to walk. So I had to drive everywhere. So it got me thinking, what can I do for Chester County that maybe hasn't been done before, and maybe start to promote a little bit more pedestrian access, walkability, bikeability, and even horseback riding. And that's where, probably 8 years, the idea of creating a Brandywine Creek Greenway was born. And the idea is that not only would it be a 30-mile-long conservation corridor, where all of the open spaces would be linked together along the creek boundary, but people would be able to actually walk, bicycle, or horseback ride all the way from Chadds Ford to Honeybrook Borough. And so that's the vision that we have today for the Brandywine Creek Greenway. And how many people here, you won't hurt my feelings, have ever heard of a greenway before? You have. So what does a greenway mean to you?
Well, I just know about your program for working with the Chamber of Municipalities that are participating.
Oh, great, we have a fan. Okay, anybody else? Definition of a greenway? Have you read anything anywhere? No? Well, a greenway can be mean different things to different people. To some people, it means just a trail, a linear corridor for recreation. But in this case, it's much more than just a trail. It can be broadly defined, and I'll read this, as a corridor of protected public and private open space, managed for conservation and/or recreation purposes. Its width varies from narrow ribbons of green that run through urban and suburban areas to larger landscapes that incorporate diverse natural, cultural, and scenic features. So a greenway can be just about anything to anybody. So for example, in Coatesville, where we have a very diverse urban environment, the greenway could be a very thin ribbon of green that would simply be a trail along the creek. For example, you already have the flats, the Brandywine, at the flats, the Brandywine Riverwalk, the Riverwalk Trail, which is a really pretty space. And that could be considered a section of the Brandywine Creek Greenway, and indeed it is. And so we will try to extend that concept south through Coatesville, down into South Coatesville and Medina, and to the north, up into Valley Township. Get my geography here, West Brandywine Township, and on up to Hibernia Park and beyond. So that's the basic concept of a greenway. And in fact, I can't take any credit at all for what we have today. We already do live in a greenway. And we have, just in the study area, within those 24 municipalities, we have over 37,000 acres of preserved open space. And believe it or not, in those 24 municipalities, that represents 24% of the land area in those municipalities is permanently protected. And that's through various different means. It could be owned by land trusts, eased by land trusts, or it could be deed restricted, for example, lands that are owned by homeowners associations in their open space. And of course, it also includes the many state, county, and municipal parks that are found along the Greenway corridor as well. Here's a little pop quiz for everyone. How many state-owned properties are within the Greenway corridor, if you can think of those 24 municipalities? Can anybody think of one state park? Hibernia, number 2. Hibernia is a county park, isn't it? Yeah, Hibernia is county. I'm talking state. Marsh Creek, 1. How about Brandywine Battlefield Park down in Chadds Ford? And the third one's a trick. It's up in the north, Honeybrook Township. Anybody? It's a lake? Struble Lake. Okay, so we already had 3 state properties, and we have over 40 municipal parks within those 24 Greenway municipalities. So there's a lot of public lands already in place that makes us a Greenway today. There are over 60 cultural resources throughout the corridor, including the Lukens National Historic District, which you're all familiar with, the Brandywine Battlefield National Historic Landmark, and the brand new First State National Monument down in Delaware. Actually, a section of that national monument extends up into the state of Pennsylvania, into Chadds Ford. So all of those great historic resources, of course, are in the Greenway. And there are, believe it or not, are there any hikers or walkers in the crowd tonight? Great. And cyclists? Great. And I know there's a runner back there too. We have 68 miles of existing trails and sidewalks in the Greenway. Who would have known? But they're there, and some of you are familiar with those, and I'll be sharing some images of all of these things in a little bit. So we've been working on the strategic action plan, which I mentioned, and part of that plan includes a concept map. And it looks like a giant squiggly worm, but on this map there are many different components along the Greenway, and you'll have to get a closer look later on. But we held a series of community workshops where people from each of the 24 municipalities were invited to identify areas that they felt were special in the Greenway, areas that were destinations that they would drive to or walk to, and also historic places that they thought had special value. And so this concept map starts to identify where those special places are in the Greenway and how we can begin to showcase them and create better pedestrian, bicycle, and equestrian access. The big green squiggly line we call a major corridor, and that corridor follows along the main stem, the east branch, and the west branch of the Brandywine. And the idea there is that that would be the continuous corridor of protected open space. There are also minor corridors that are sort of in little feeder streams that feed into the major corridor. And there are 15 of those throughout the Greenway, all of those more of a municipal scale as opposed to a regional scale Greenway. There are six hubs in the Greenway, and hubs are kind of centers of activity where there are multiple events or services and facilities available For example, a hub is Marsh Creek State Park, where there's recreation and all kinds of bird watching and nature appreciation trails happening there. So that's one of the hubs in the Greenway. There are 9 destinations, and you'll be familiar with many of these. For example, the Stroud Preserve, the Laurels Preserve, and many of the county and municipal parks. 17 gateways are planned for the Greenway. I think there may be 1 or 2 in Coatesville, but those are places where people will be encouraged to drive to, park their car. There would be an informational kiosk with informational signage, probably a map, a trail map, and other information perhaps regarding the history of that particular gateway to educate people about the Greenway and the resources that are there for their enjoyment. So these are all things that are in the works. I mentioned earlier there's 68 existing miles of trails. Well, the vision on the concept plan is that there will be 230 miles of trails proposed. And so we're really starting to try to look at intermunicipal cooperation, creating linkages, getting people up off the sofa, away from the computer, hitting the trail and improving their health, enjoying the environment, and learning a little bit about their watershed and the natural places where they live. And we also envision 26 locations where there will be creek access, and that would be creek access for either kayaking, tubing, maybe fly fishing or fishing, just wading, or just passive recreation along the water. And so I think we can make much better use of the creek by providing better access, and that's part of the vision. It's challenging to encapsulate everything in 15 minutes about the Greenway, but I have an activity now where it's sort of a quiz, and I'm going to take you beyond your comfort zone of the historic district here into different areas in the Greenway. And I want to see if you can identify where these photographs were taken in the Greenway. Okay? Number 1. Can you see that? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll have pass it. Let me move around.
Okay. That one was Waynebrook Inn. Someone said Honeybrook. Someone said Honeybrook. Waynebrook Inn in Honeybrook Borough, 1865. You all should know this one. Okay. Everyone see Terracina? How about this one? Any covered bridges? Anyone familiar with covered bridges of Chester County? Anybody? Where? What was that? Oh, is that in Upper Euclid? No, but close. It's in the Laurels Preserve, East Fallowfield Township. Okay, everyone should get this one. I heard it. Good. Hibernia Mansion. Good. So these are all our amazing places in the Brandywine Creek Greenway. Anybody for this one? I think I heard a ch-ch. Good. Good. Okay. John Chad House. Did you hear my house? Thanks. What we got? Okay. Think County Park.
I should know.
County Park. Good. Springton Manor Farm. That's Wallace Township. How about this one? Good. Okay. Anybody here? Right, Marsh Creek State Park. Okay, trivia. Who knows how many acres the lake is in Marsh Creek State Park? Any guesses? 535 acre lake. Big lake. Okay, here's another lake. Close. Struble Lake. That one's hard to tell because there's not much context. And Struble Lake is 386 acres in Honeybrook Township. Okay, this is an easy one. Can you see that? Can you see that? No? Oh, I'm sorry. It's hard, probably that far away. Coatesville High Bridge. How many arches are in the Coatesville High Bridge? How many arches? Any guesses? 10. Who said 10? Right. Oh, I'm gonna start on this side now. Okay? Anybody know where this is? Yes. Okay? Brandywine River Museum, okay, down in Chadds Ford. By the way, we have a brand new exhibition underway called Lure of the Brandywine that takes a special look at the conservation efforts of the Brandywine Conservancy and blends them with artists' work. So I encourage you all to go see that before it's over in August. Okay, someone hollered this lake earlier, and this is the real McCoy. Chambers Lake. Okay, Chambers Lake. Oops. Now these people are horseback riding, and there's currently really one hot spot for equestrian trails in the Greenway. Where, anybody know where that would be? Marsh Creek State Park. Bridle trails there, and there's also a stables. Okay. This one's kind of a trick. This is a trick photograph because it could be just about anywhere, so I'll tell you where this one is. This is actually in Carden Park in downtown Downingtown. Okay? A blue heron in downtown Downingtown. We're talking thin ribbons of green in urban areas. Okay? Anybody recognize that one? That is a sculpture. The cow is a sculpture on the Brandywine Creek at the Brandywine River Museum again. I'm a little biased because I come from there. This is another one of Struble Lake. Struble Lake. Okay. Okay, this has a pretty good clue. I heard it. I think I heard it over there. Okay. Brandywine Picnic Park? Yeah. Yes, Flynn. And swimming in the Brandywine could be happening almost anywhere down the creek. And of course, one of the big goals of the Brandywine Creek Greenway is to improve water quality in the Brandywine. And so we would like to see water continue to be used for recreation and beer making. This is a trick question. It's a paved trail. Runners going through the woods. It could be Struble, but it's not. It's a brand new section of the Brandywine Trail that was recently built in West Bradford and East Bradford townships. And I think they have a run coming up too, so. Okay, I just have a few more. Someone said Struble Trail earlier, and there we have cyclists on the Struble Trail. And everyone will be interested to know, if you're interested in trails, that Chester County and the Brandywine Conservancy will soon be beginning work on an extension of the Struble Trail, a 16-mile extension, taking it from its current terminus at Marsh Creek State Park and continuing it all the way up to Honeybrook Borough. So this year we're starting a feasibility study, so that's in the works. Okay, I'm going to switch sides. That's probably hard to see.
I'll run around.
Okay. That is a preserve in East Bradford Township. How about this side? Where might this be? Just name a township. It's probably Honeybrook. It's in Honeybrook. And he has 13 flies on his nose. I counted them. Okay. And last photograph. This one might be hard for you to see, but it's a picture of the Stella Rosa restaurant in Downingtown. And another goal of the Greenway is to encourage and promote economic development in our urban areas. And we think that by developing trails and creating gateways to the Greenway and encouraging pedestrians and cyclists and equestrians, a lot of these urban centers can become more vibrant areas as people drive to them, they eat there, they buy bicycles there, they buy water, maybe they stay overnight, and so that's another goal of the Greenway. So that's really all I have for tonight, and it's been a pleasure speaking with everyone. I hope I haven't gone too long.
Really appreciate it.